It's Kids Day out, and let's hear what he has to say about the day and what is happening today. Habari daktari.
Mzuri sana.
Habari ya leo kuna nini inafanyika Komarock Modern?
Leo kulikuwa na Komarock Modern Healthcare Kids Day out. This is something that I've wanted to do for some time, even before COVID. Actually, it was interrupted by COVID. It has been my joy to see all the children born at Komarock Modern Healthcare celebrate, together. And of course, people come to deliver at Komarock Modern Healthcare, pay money, and that way I would also want to share something with them so that they feel part of this family. So today what I wanted to do, and what we have actually done, is share something together with those people who have made Komarock Modern Healthcare to be where it is. We major in reproductive health, basically about deliveries and obstetrics and gynecology, and that way you can't separate that with children. Of course, again, the purpose for this actually is to also create a fulfillment on our side. I mean, it is joy for you to see a baby who is 1 day old, and also to see that baby when that baby is 15 years old. And God has kept you and has given you that strength to see those children grow. And basically that was the purpose for this day. And of course, make people who have delivered here feel that Komarock is part of them.
So we've seen hundreds of families here. How does it feel when you see the kids that you took part in making them come into this world growing?
Well, basically, I get that fulfillment. To me, making money is one thing, but money cannot make you happy. Basically, when you see those many children together playing around you, you feel like a grandfather. You feel like like you have brought up children here, and of course, children are like they feel like flowers. When they are around you, you feel nice. You feel younger than you were sometimes before. Sometimes back. So that is the fulfillment we are looking at, and basically to me, I've gotten that fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you as a doctor, I know personally you feel like you're the best, you're doing a great job, and according to your work ethics, you're not supposed to be the gynecologist to your wife. Do you sometimes feel like you can just do it?
Well, basically, professionally, you are not supposed to, treat your family members. But of course, there are extents where you can go and there are few issues that you need to sort out that are not very intrusive. Of course, on and off, you get tempted to do what you ideally professionally you're not supposed to do. I actually treat all my children. I thank God they have never been treated by any other doctor, and they have never needed that extensive care. But I have avoided treating my wife. But otherwise, on and off, and get tempted. Of course, I give advices when she asks questions, when she tells me she's going to the hospital. Sometimes I find it's a minor thing, and I give her advice and sort it out at that. But ideally, it is not good to treat your spouse or your family members.
Okay. Yeah. Just to ask about the event ambayo imefanyika siku ya leo. Is it a one time event ama ni event ambayo itakuwa inafanyika occasionally, na kama ni occasionally itakuwa inafanyika how often?
We would basically want to do it every year. We have a series of events. This is one of it. A few months ago, we had a baby shower for all women who are pregnant. We had around 700 women. It was a good event to me. I mean, I have had ladies come and ask whether we are doing it before again they deliver, and of course I tell them we would want to do it when they are getting their second baby. That is just one of that event, and this event for the children, and I have seen it was quite successful. I would want to do it every year.
Yeah. You've chosen to work with celebrities more than using billboards and running adverts on TV. Why did you decide to do that? Going against what other hospitals are doing right now, but you're doing it too different. Why did you decide that?
Well, we would want to be a little bit different. This is an hospitality industry. I don't think anybody would just go to an hospital because they have seen a billboard. One, we believe in the word of mouth. Now, most of the celebrities here have actually been treated here, and they are still being treated here. So they are giving their life history, what they have experienced at Komarock Modern. And that way, when a lady is told by another lady about the experience at Komarock Modern, they tend to believe than when they see a billboard written a particular name of an hospital, and that billboard has no experience. And that way, we don't want to tell people about an hospital and they come and see something different. And that approach to me is more genuine than a billboard. And of course, from my experience for some years now, it has given us a good feedback. I mean, the numbers have grown because, again, like I've said, people are given they give the experience, and the same people, when they come here, they find whatever they were told is the real picture. Like you don't preach this and do the opposite. Yeah. So that is the main reason why we've chosen to go that direction.
Yeah. Okay. According to your work dynamics, a lot of things happen. What has been your lowest moments ever since you started this job?
Well, my lowest moment, basically, of course, I would want to do expansions. Sometimes you want to do expansions. Then you reach a point where you want to make sure that you don't want to affect one business as you want to do the other one. But basically, in a medical profession, the lowest moments usually come when you lose, for example, a patient. Or, for example, you have someone you are following up because of infertility. And basically, you are struggling to make sure this particular person, conceives, and subsequently they conceive. But in the process of delivery, sometimes they may not either come to deliver at Komarock Modern, and then they give you a story later that they lost a baby. This is someone you have worked for, assisting to be pregnant for like even 10 years, and now that has happened, and subsequently they lose the pregnancy or they lose the baby. That really demoralizes you quite much.
Daktari, currently, from all your years of experience in practice, do you have a count of how many kids or babies you have helped to deliver, or you lost count at some point?
My son has asked me that question on and off, and I don't think I have an answer, because I can only estimate that like in a week, we basically, I would deliver, I'd say, around 20 children. Now, I may not be able to get the right picture, but at least today when I saw the children, possibly I think I must have delivered millions. From the time I started working, I have now at around 16, 17 years working. I do not have a specific number, but I'm sure there should be millions.
One other question about your personality. You are quite experienced, quite knowledgeable, and quite blessed in terms of resources. But we have seen you being a very humble person, accessible. You can be called, you pick your phones. What is the secret?
Well, you see, an hospital is a business. Now, one, wealth is basically bestowed in the human being. So you have to have people with you so that they are able to help you in the process of creating wealth. And that way, being humble is not something you want to struggle doing. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't struggle to humble yourself. And I actually don't want to work with people who are very rich. Does it give me any fulfillment to me? When I find people whom I can take to an hotel, for example, you can get someone who has never gone to say Safari Park. They only pass through there and see Safari Park. You take them there for lunch or breakfast. Then they appreciate morale and taking someone who goes there every other time. And that way I want to associate with myself with those people who are at that level. And I have no reason. It is these people who have made me whom I am. And that way I have no reason to be proud when I'm with them. And it is the same people who will take me to other levels. And of course, in terms of answering calls and talking to my clients, I have no problem about that. This is a calling. Medical practice is a calling. There are people who don't want to be waken up at night, and that's where they decided they don't want to choose this profession. Of course, there are also people in this profession who still do not want to be woken up. That way, I would think they're in the wrong profession. And that way, since I chose this from the time I was young, I have no problem doing that. And that is what I know will take me to other to better level.
Yeah, pengine kwa faida ya mtazamaji, for anyone who's watching and would love to know, how many branches do you have, na ziko wapi sasa hivi?
We currently have 4 branches. The first branch is in Komarock Estate, which is a level 4 facility. of course, level 4, I mean, we have a theater, we have X-rays, we have dental unit, ultrasound, and maternity unit. We have the second branch where we end the event today, Komarock Modern Healthcare at our branch, which was the second branch. Basically a level 5 facility with ICU, CT scans, fully fledged maternity unit, basically anything that you would expect in an hospital at the level 5. The fourth facility is in the Rakanidi branch, the Rakanidi County, which was actually a CSR. That is the branch I love most because I was doing it purposely as fungula kumi.
Yeah.
I was trying to give back to the community. It is actually bigger than the Utawala branch. It may not make money like the way Utawala is making, but when I find those old people go and get the same service they would get in these big hospitals in Nairobi, I get that fulfillment. And to me, that is more than money. And I was brought up in a very poor environment, not a poor family per se, but the environment is rather poor. There are people who can't afford to go to those hospitals, and those are the people I'm still targeting, and that's why I decided to give back to the community. The fourth, of course, is a level 5 facility at Kadwana, with everything that's in Utawala. An ICU bigger than the one in Utawala, CT scan, the maternity unit is actually double than the one we have in Utawala, simply because I was building it for God, not for the human being. I was actually giving back to God, to what He has done to me for this long. The fourth branch is still in the Rakanidi branch, the Rakanidi County at Chuka town. Currently level 3, we are actually doing a level 5. We are in the process of the construction to move it to be a level 5 facility. Again, the reason why we did that is so that that branch can also feed the level 5 facility at Kadwana. Currently, also level 4 with theaters, X-ray, ultrasound, maternity unit, inpatient of around 52 beds. Yeah, we are moving to Kitengela. We have already started the construction at Kitengela. We are doing a level 5 facility. God willing, in another 12 months, we should be able to start seeing patients there. And after that, we need to move to other centers. We have, people requesting us to do facilities in towns that are near them. And that way, to me, those are prayers, and we hope God will answer those prayers for us to reach those people.
Mm-hmm. So, Doc, you've given us a hint that you're going to set up a cancer center in the near future. What kind of a facility is it going to be? And from what we've witnessed here in Kenya, it is usually very expensive to treat cancer. How is it going to be different from your facility?
Well, we have actually already started, treating patients with cancer. We have the setup. We have the wands, we have the facilities that are required for you to treat cancer. But now we are doing a unit that is able to do radiotherapy and, of course, chemotherapy, do surgeries for complicated cancers. We are collaborating with some hospitals in India. Of course, India is far much developed in terms of oncology, cancer, and that way we need the expertise, and that way from the base, from the construction and everything, we are partnered with 3 hospitals there to be able to give us the way forward, and also on and off to be coming here and treat people, basically like a partnership with them, because like I said, they are more advanced than Kenya in terms of treating cancer. But again, we would want to do it actually as a CSR. Make sure that people who have cancer and possibly have difficulties in paying their bills, we are able to help them get the treatment like they would get wherever they would go. So that's how different it will be.
Dr. Nyamu, my name is Peter. I work for SPM Buzz. I want to say congratulations for what you've done at Komarock Modern Healthcare Facility. My question is, should men be allowed during labor?
They shouldn't be allowed. Actually, one of the requirements that when we are advising you on what you should do during delivery is what we call a birth companion. Birth companion is someone you can send, the lady can send to their back, someone they can call and say things looks like now I need to go to theater, things are I'm not able to go for a normal delivery, and we can also engage them. Sometimes when they're in pain, you are not able to talk to them that much, so you need somebody else. And I encourage men to be there during labor so that you are also able to know what your wives undergo. And to me, even in theater, I allow spouses to be in theater. Not only artists. I remember one time someone was saying only artists are allowed there. Anybody, and you can ask people who have delivered here. Of course, many of them don't want to get the smell of blood, but I request them, I will give them a stool to sit down, watch, find out what we are doing. We are not doing anything that is illegal for them to see. So we encourage men to go, accompany their wives in the delivery room and also in theater if there's a serious action going on.
Dr. Nyamu, taking you back a little, about the event that you've done here, the events you did a few months ago, are you doing the same for the people of Tharaka Nithi, the ones in Tharaka Nithi?
We already done a baby shower in Tharaka Nithi. We want to accumulate the number of babies born in Tharaka Nithi. Of course, the number of children born in Tharaka Nithi in a day are almost 3 times, the number born in Nairobi. And that way, we would want, once we have finalized this one, and I already have people asking whether, similar questions. So we are doing that for Tharaka Nithi as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alafu doctor, the mother of your kids, Mrs. Nyamu, is also a part of your employees.
Yes.
How do you find it? How do you treat her at work?
Well, there's a difference. When we are at home, she calls me a different name, sweetie. Here is a different name. She will address me as Doc or the CEO, and they will address her differently. Now, we rarely meet when we are at the place of work unless we have a meeting. Now, she has to follow my instructions because I'm senior than her in Komarock Modern Healthcare. I give her duties to make sure they are executed, and she has to follow that. Now, she joined Komarock Modern. I think when she was giving her speech, she told you that she joined when Komarock Modern was already established, and she respects that I have the dream, she has to support the dream. And she has done it well. It is not very easy to work with your wife in the same environment. Actually, people have come and requested me, and said, I've seen a young girl there, can you give me their number? And say, which one is that? They are pointing at my wife. And I actually give them my number. I give them my wife's number. Now, later on, when they realize that's my wife, they come back and say, why did you not tell me she's your wife? I said, you never asked me to give you my wife's number. You only told me there's a lady you have seen there, and you want their number, and I gave you the number. Okay? So there are those challenges. I don't follow up to find out whether she was called by anybody or not. No. Of course, even there are people, of course, even on phone. Sometimes, ladies, when you are working with them, you get used to them. Sometimes they call, my phone is on loudspeaker, and they the first time, when I answer, they say, sweetheart. Then she, is on loudspeaker, and she will, someone else is calling sweetheart. But whatever follows after that is like, my periods are very heavy, I am bleeding. And of course, then she realizes that, and what was mentioned to be sweetheart is not related. So someone has to understand, someone has to appreciate that this is basically a profession. They have to allow you to work without thinking you've been drilled by very many other things. I am sure even media people have very many problems. You go to cover stories in places where is a bit funny, and your wives or your husbands are like, are you sure she is just covering a story somewhere or she's doing something? They have to develop that trust. But of course, it is not easy to work with your spouse unless you have boundaries and clearly demarcated boundaries that this is an institution we are working for. Now, when you are at home, that's a different institution. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
is your wife on payroll, or you just split the cash once?
She's on her payroll. She's on her payroll. In fact, when the salary increases a little bit, she complains a lot because she has the avenue of complaining. But she's on her payroll like any other person. Whatever she gets, because she's a wife of someone who operates an hospital, that's a different thing. But otherwise, she's on her payroll, and she has to work for 6 days in a week, like any other staff. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Daktari.
All right. God bless you.
All right.